Part 1. Setting the stage. Hey Reddit. Throwaway account for obvious reasons. I don't even know why I'm writing this except that I feel like I'm going insane and just need to get it out. Maybe someone out there has been through this and can offer some clarity, or maybe it'll just help to put it all down. I, 32M, have been married to my wife, Alyssa, 30F, for 5 years. We've been together for almost 8 in total. High school sweethearts. Or so I thought. We were the couple everyone thought would make it. You know, the ones who looked perfect on paper. We had a house in the suburbs, 2 dogs, and a Sunday brunch routine. People used to say we looked like a Hallmark card. But over the last few months, things just shifted. At first, it was subtle. She started spending more time on her phone. Like, a lot more. Always smiling at texts and snapping her phone shut when I walked in the room. She claimed it was just group chats or work stuff. She does marketing at a startup, but it felt off. Then there were the late meetings. She'd never had those before. And suddenly she's going to the gym at 9 p.m.? I asked her once why so late, and she rolled her eyes like I was the crazy one. Said, I don't want to be stared at by meatheads. Night workouts are peaceful. Fair. Okay. I wanted to believe her. I really did. I chalked it up to stress. Her job's been intense, and I've been working long hours too. I'm a software engineer, and Q4 was rough. So I gave her space. Trusted her. Figured we'd reconnect when things calmed down. God, I feel like such an idiot now. Part 2. The first red flag that hit me hard. So about a month ago, I was doing laundry, something we usually split, but lately I've been doing more of it since she's been too busy. I grabbed the hamper from our bedroom, start sorting clothes, and noticed this tiny scrap of paper in her jeans pocket. Just a receipt. No big deal, right? But it's from a sushi place. Not just any sushi place, the fancy one downtown that we only go to on anniversaries. The receipt was for 2 people. Full meals. Sake. Dessert. The whole deal. I know I didn't go there. We hadn't been out in weeks. I stared at that thing like it was a live grenade. My gut clenched. I asked her about it, casually at first, like, hey, found this in your pocket. Treating yourself to some sushi. And without missing a beat she goes, oh. That? Yeah, I went there with Maya from work. She just got promoted, so we celebrated. I wanted to believe her. I really did. But something in her tone was slippery. Like she had that answer ready. Too ready. So I dropped it. Or, more accurately, I pretended to drop it. But from that moment, the seed was planted. And once it's there, it grows fast. The way she guarded her phone. The change in perfume. The fact that she suddenly started wearing lingerie again, but only when I wasn't around. Found it in the hamper once, and I hadn't seen it on her in ages. I told myself I was overthinking. Paranoia. That I was the insecure one. Nope. Part 3. The night that changed everything. Fast forward to a Saturday night 2 weeks after the sushi receipt. Alyssa said she was going out with the girls for drinks. Maya, Jess, Rachel, the usual crew. I didn't think much of it at first. But then around 11 p.m. I get a weird feeling. Call it instinct, call it my subconscious screaming at me. Whatever it was, I couldn't shake it. So I text her. Me, having fun. Alyssa, yep. So much fun. Love these girls. Me, cool. Tell Maya I said congrats again. Alyssa, will do. Face-blowing kiss. Problem is, I'd run into Maya that afternoon at the grocery store. Just by chance. She'd mentioned she was heading out of town for the weekend with her boyfriend camping trip. Had a whole cart full of snacks and firewood to prove it. I felt my stomach drop. I waited another hour, then did something I never thought I'd do. I opened Find My iPhone. We both had it enabled because of a time she lost her phone 2 years ago. Never turned it off. She wasn't at any bar. Not even close. She was at a residential address downtown. Not a friend's place. Not anyone I recognized. I stared at that map for a solid 10 minutes before I decided to drive there. I didn't know what I was going to do. I just needed to see. And oh man. I saw. Pulled up around midnight. Her car was parked out front. House lights were on. I parked across the street, just sitting there, heart pounding. 15 minutes later, she walked out. With him. Tall guy. Gym body. Hoodie and jeans. He kissed her. Kissed her. Right there under the porch light like it was the most normal thing in the world. She laughed. Tossed her hair. Got in her car like she didn't just napalm our entire life. I didn't follow her. I didn't even move. I just sat there in the dark, gripping the wheel so hard my knuckles turned white. I think I stopped breathing. Part 4. Confrontation Round 1. She walked in the door around 12:45 a.m. I was sitting on the couch, lights on, pretending to scroll through Netflix. My heart was thumping so loud I thought she'd hear it before she even saw me. Alyssa freezes when she sees me. "Oh, you're up," she says, like I'm the weird one for existing in our shared home. "Yeah," I reply. "So, how were drinks with Maya?" She doesn't miss a beat. "Good. We went to that wine bar on 5th. Super chill night." I just stare at her. Silence stretches between us. She shifts her weight, suddenly less confident. "You sure it was wine bar and not, say, some random dude's house downtown?" Her eyes flash for a second. Panic? Guilt? "I don't know." She recovers quick. "What the hell are you talking about?" "I saw you, Alyssa. I tracked your phone. I watched you walk out of that house and kiss him." Boom. She goes pale. Like all the blood drained out of her. Then? She laughs. Laughs. This little scoffing sound like I'm being ridiculous. "You tracked me," she snaps. "Jesus, are you serious right now? That's insane." I couldn't believe it. She was mad at me. Like I was the villain for catching her red-handed. "You lied to my face," I said, barely keeping it together. "You told me you were with friends and instead you're out playing house with some random guy? And you're mad about tracking." She shakes her head and mutters, "It's not what it looked like." I stood up, heart racing. "Then tell me what it was, Alyssa. Enlighten me." She doesn't answer right away. Just grabs a bottle of water and takes her time. Then finally mutters, "He's just a friend. It's not serious." Like that makes it better. That was the moment I realized she'd been lying for a while. And she wasn't even good at it anymore. She just didn't care. Part 5, The Gaslighting Olympics. So there we were. Me standing in the middle of the living room, jaw clenched, trying not to scream. And Alyssa calmly sipping water like we were arguing over who left the dishwasher open. When I asked her how long this had been going on, she just shrugged. Shrugged. Like I'd asked what time her dentist appointment was. "I don't know. A few weeks? A month maybe." "A few weeks? You've been sneaking around behind my back for a month and lying to my face and you don't know?" She rolls her eyes. Rolls her eyes. "I didn't plan this, okay? It just happened. You've been distant lately. You're always working." I felt alone. Classic. I wanted to scream. Instead, I asked, "So this is my fault now?" And with zero hesitation, she goes, "I'm not saying that. But yeah, you haven't exactly been present." I needed attention. I needed to feel wanted. I swear, it took every ounce of self-control not to lose it. I'd been busting my ass working overtime to cover bills while she found herself through this new job she claimed to love but mostly used as an excuse to stay out late and dress up for meetings. She kept talking something about how it wasn't emotional, how I shouldn't blow things out of proportion, how technically she never slept with him. Right? Sure. Totally believe that. Face with rolling eyes. Then came the line that finally broke me. "You're overreacting. People make mistakes." That's when I knew I wasn't going to get an ounce of honesty, remorse, or respect from her. She didn't slip up. She didn't stumble into someone's bed after a drunken night. She chose this. Repeatedly. Deliberately. Then lied like it was second nature. She looked me dead in the eye and told me it wasn't a big deal. I went upstairs. Locked the door behind me. And just sat there in the dark for hours. Part 13, The Fallout and the Friends Who Knew. Once I made the decision to move forward with divorce, things started moving fast. I called my boss, told him everything in the most professional way I could without breaking down. He was cool about it, even gave me some time off, no questions asked. But the real kicker came when I started hearing from mutual friends. Turns out some of them knew. Not everything, but enough. Little things. Alyssa had shown up to a friend's birthday party with Jake by accident. She said I was busy and couldn't make it. Another friend saw them at a music festival holding hands. A freaking festival. One of her coworkers DM'd me anonymously and said, "I've seen them leave the office together late more than once. She flirts with him all the time. You deserve better, dude." That one hit me square in the gut. Not because it was news, by now I knew what she was, but because it confirmed something else. She wasn't even discreet. She'd stopped hiding it long before I found out. Which meant she didn't just lie, she didn't care if people saw. She was rewriting our relationship in real time, turning me into the absent, overworking husband in her little redemption arc so she could guilt-free bang her coworker with a protein shake addiction. And the worst part? She fooled people. Or tried to. I had friends texting me things like, "I thought you two were solid, man. What happened?" She said you guys were on a break. Wait, I thought you knew? No, I didn't know. I was out here playing husband of the year while she was soft-launching her side piece like it was a brand partnership. So I started clearing the house. Had Kyle come with me. Packed up what I needed. Left the rest. I left my key on the counter, took one last look at what used to be our living room, and shut the door behind me. Not just on the house. On her. Part 7. The Breaking Point. The next few days were surreal. She kept acting like everything was fine. Like we'd had a small disagreement and now we just needed to move past it. She'd make dinner like usual, plop down next to me on the couch, even try to kiss me goodnight. I couldn't stand it. Every time she touched me, it felt like static crawling under my skin. I kept thinking of that guy, wondering how many nights she was with him while I sat home thinking she was with her friends. I thought about the way she smiled at her phone, how she looked in the mirror longer before going out, how she had suddenly bought new lingerie I never saw her wear. I started pulling away, sleeping in the guest room, not talking unless I had to. She noticed, of course. One night, after 3 days of this tense, fake domesticity, she snapped. "You're being so childish," she said. "We're both adults. Can't we just talk about this like rational people?" Rational? She wanted rational after lighting a match and burning our marriage down? So I said it. "You didn't make a mistake, Alyssa. You made a series of choices. You lied. Repeatedly. You kissed another man while I sat at home waiting for you. And now you want to pretend none of it happened because it's inconvenient for you to feel guilty." She folded her arms. "It's not like I slept with him, okay? You're acting like I had a whole other relationship." "Oh yeah?" I said. "How would you define sneaking off to his house at midnight, lying to me about where you are, and kissing him on the porch? Because that looks a whole lot like a relationship to me." She didn't respond. Just stood there, lips tight, eyes cold. And then she had the audacity to say, "You're blowing this up because you want an excuse to make me the bad guy." I didn't yell. I didn't scream. I just walked upstairs and started packing a bag. That was the moment I knew I couldn't stay, not even to figure things out. I needed distance. Sanity. A place where gaslighting wasn't served for breakfast. Part 8. The Escape Bag. Packing that bag was one of the hardest, weirdest things I've ever done. I didn't even know what I needed. I just started grabbing stuff at random. A few shirts, my laptop, phone charger, toothbrush, socks. I stood there staring at my side of the closet, realizing how little of it I even wanted to take. Everything in that room suddenly felt foreign, like it belonged to someone else's life. She followed me upstairs, of course. Not to stop me to commentate. "So what, you're just running away now? Real mature." I didn't respond. Didn't even look at her. "Where are you gonna go? Kyle's? You think you're gonna live in a bachelor pad and suddenly everything's fine?" Still quiet. Just shoved my hoodie into the duffel. She crossed her arms and said, "This is dramatic, you know. You're throwing away everything over one mistake." That word again. Mistake. I finally turned to her and said, "No. You threw it away. You threw me away. I'm just walking out of the wreckage." And then I walked past her, and for the first time in all of this, she didn't follow. I stayed at my brother Kyle's that night. He took one look at me, handed me a beer, and said, "Dude, you look like a ghost." I didn't even tell him everything right away. I just crashed on his couch, stared at the ceiling, and let the silence fill up the room. The adrenaline was gone. All that was left was this heavy, aching emptiness. I had officially left my home, my marriage, and the woman I thought I'd grow old with, all in one night. And I had no idea what came next. Part 9. The Floodgates Open. I made it through that first night at Kyle's on autopilot. The next morning, I finally broke. I was in his guest bathroom, brushing my teeth, and I caught my reflection, messy hair, bags under my eyes, same hoodie I'd been wearing for 2 days. And I just lost it. Put the toothbrush down and started crying. Ugly, shoulder-shaking, full-body kind of crying. I hadn't cried in years. I didn't even feel it coming. It just hit me like a wave and pulled me under. Kyle knocked on the door after a few minutes. I must have been loud. He didn't ask anything, just said, "Let me know if you want to talk." Or just scream. Or set something on fire. Honestly, that helped more than anything. Later that day, I told him everything. The lying, the tracking, the porch kiss, the gaslighting. He just sat there, quiet, shaking his head, looking like he wanted to punch someone, ideally Alyssa or the mystery dude she was playing house with. When I was done, he asked, "You think you're gonna go back?" I didn't answer right away. Not because I didn't know, but because I did. "No," I said. "I don't think there's anything to go back to." And that made it real. Up until then, it still felt like a maybe. A nightmare I might wake up from. But that moment? That was the first time I accepted that my marriage was probably over. Alyssa texted me a few times that day. "Can we talk? I didn't mean for it to go this far. I miss you." I didn't respond. She wasn't sorry for what she did, she was sorry I found out. Part 10. The other guy has a name. A few days later, curiosity got the better of me. I didn't want to know more. But I had to know more. I needed to understand what kind of guy she'd thrown everything away for. So I did what any emotionally wrecked person does in 2025. I went digging. Started with social media. Checked her Instagram followers, nothing obvious. But then I remembered something. Alyssa once tagged a guy in a story a couple months ago, some random group shot at a work event. The name stuck out because it wasn't one of her usual crowd. I went back and found the tag. Jake. Some dude who worked at the same startup. I clicked his profile, it was public. Boom. There he was. Him. The guy I saw kiss her under the porch light. Same smug face, same dumb jawline, same I lift and take mirror selfies energy. Tons of gym pics. Inspirational captions like, grind mode activated flexed biceps. You know the type. But what really got me? He had photos of her. Alyssa. Not just group shots, close ones. One of them in matching outfits at a Halloween party. Another at the sushi place from that receipt I found. And the kicker? A selfie of them on his couch. Her head on his shoulder. His arm around her. Caption, My Peace Blackheart. Dated 2 weeks before I confronted her. I felt sick. Not just because of the photos, but because she had the audacity to call it not serious. She said it just happened. But this was a full-on relationship. While I was at home cooking dinner and folding laundry, she was out taking couple pics with her side guy. So yeah, Jake had a name, a face, a life that apparently included my wife. I didn't text her, didn't call. I just sat on Kyle's porch for a long time, watching the sky turn orange, wondering how I missed it all. Part 11, Her Apology. 2 days after I found Jake's Instagram, Alyssa showed up at Kyle's unannounced. I heard the doorbell while I was in the shower, and by the time I came downstairs, there she was standing in the living room like she belonged there. Kyle looked at me like, you want me to throw her out? She had tears in her eyes. Makeup-free, hoodie on, trying hard to look like sad wife. I just want to talk, she said. I didn't want to, but I let her speak. Mostly because I needed to hear what version of the story she was going to peddle this time. I messed up, she started. I didn't know how to tell you. It wasn't supposed to happen like this. I leaned against the wall. Like what? You accidentally fell into his lap and started posing for Instagram photos? She flinched. I was lonely. You were working all the time. We stopped talking. I felt invisible. There it was again, my fault. Somehow, me working to keep our life stable justified her setting it on fire. I didn't mean to hurt you, she said. Jake made me feel wanted again. Seen. Like I mattered. I wanted to scream. Instead I asked, so what's the plan here, Alyssa? You gonna keep seeing him? Or are you just here because you're scared of losing the house and your reputation? She hesitated. A long hesitation. Then, I don't know. I swear that hurt more than anything else. Not even a fake, I choose you. Just uncertainty. Like she was weighing us against some guy who does bicep curls and posts thirst traps. She looked at me like she expected me to fix it. To forgive. To take her back and pretend none of this happened. But I was done being the backup plan. I said, you made your choice. Now live with it. And then I asked her to leave. Kyle watched her walk out the door in silence. Then he turned to me and said, proud of you, man. I didn't feel proud. I felt wrecked. But I also felt something else, clarity. Part 12, Clarity hits like a freight train. After Alyssa left Kyle's place, something inside me finally clicked. I wasn't crazy. I wasn't paranoid. I wasn't being dramatic or childish or any of the garbage labels she tried to pin on me when the truth came out. I was a guy who got cheated on, gaslit, lied to, and emotionally gutted, and I'd spent way too long trying to make sense of nonsense. And you know what hit me the hardest? The realization that I didn't miss her. I missed the version of her I thought she was. The Alyssa who laughed at dumb movies with me on Friday nights. The one who'd wear my hoodie just because it smelled like home. The one I pictured having kids with one day. But that version? She hadn't existed for a long time. Maybe never. What I actually missed was peace. Safety. Loyalty. Knowing I could come home and not get blindsided by a betrayal that had been brewing behind my back for months. The more distance I got from her, the more I started seeing the patterns, the manipulation, the little digs, the moments where I'd feel like I had to apologize for things I didn't even do. She wasn't just a liar. She was a chronic deflector. She knew how to twist a situation until I was the one on the defensive even when she was the one in the wrong. And Jake? He wasn't her soulmate. He was just the next guy willing to stroke her ego. I finally reached out to a lawyer and booked a consultation. No drama. No yelling. Just action. That night, I slept. Really slept. For the first time in weeks. Because for the first time I wasn't confused anymore. I was done. Part 6, the spiral begins. I barely slept that night. Maybe 2 hours, tops. My brain was running at full throttle, rerunning every moment over the past few months like a movie I suddenly realized had a whole different plot the whole time. Every, I love you, every, I'm just tired, every fake smile before heading out for another girls' night, all of it felt poison now. By the time I got out of bed, she was already in the kitchen like nothing happened. Making coffee. Scrolling on her phone. Humming. I swear to God, humming. I couldn't even look at her. She tried to hand me a mug like we were still some cute, functional couple. I didn't take it. She just gave me this blank stare and said, "Are we really going to be weird about this all day?" Weird. Weird. I caught you cheating on me last night, Alyssa. We are way past weird. She rolls her eyes again like I'm being dramatic. So what now, she says, arms crossed. Are you going to mope and punish me forever, or can we move on? That hit me like a truck. She thought this was something we'd just get over. Like I'd cool off, we'd have angry sex, and I'd forget it ever happened. I realized then she had zero concept of the damage she'd done. Or worse, she did, and she just didn't care. That day I called in sick to work. Sat in my car for an hour before I even turned the engine on. I felt numb, disoriented, like I was outside of my own life looking in. I didn't cry. Not yet. That would come later when it hit me full force. But the cracks were spreading. Fast. Part 14, letting go isn't losing. The weeks that followed were weird. Not gonna lie, there were days it felt like I was floating. Like I'd stepped out of one life and into a void, no routine, no texts from her, no little sounds in the kitchen while she made coffee. But instead of missing her, I missed the version of me that used to trust people. That part hurt more than losing her. And yet it also felt freeing. I started going on long walks. Hitting the gym again, not to compete with Jake's roided-up beach body, but because it cleared my head. I journaled. I talked to a therapist, shout out to Kyle for setting that up. It was like I was rebuilding from the inside out. Meanwhile, Alyssa kept trying to reach out. First through texts. Can we just talk? I never wanted to hurt you. I think about you every day. Then the calls started. Then the guilt trip emails. 5 years means nothing to you and you just gave up? No. I didn't give up. I got pushed to the edge and finally stopped holding on to someone who had already let go of me months ago. I never replied. Not once. Jake eventually showed up on her socials less. Then not at all. My guess? She burned the bridge too. Probably tried to start over with him, realized he wasn't husband material, and started looking backward at me like I was a backup file she could restore. But I wasn't standing still waiting for her to notice me again. I'd already left the building. One day I got a text from an unknown number. Just said, "I hope someday you can forgive me." I deleted it without reading the rest. I wasn't angry anymore. I wasn't sad. I was done. Part 15, what I learned and what I'd tell you. It's been a few months now. I've moved into a new apartment. Small place, nothing fancy, but it's mine. It's quiet and peaceful and there's no tension in the walls. No lies hiding under the couch cushions. I hung some photos up. Adopted a cat, believe it or not. Her name's Nova. She trusts me more than my own wife ever did by the end. I'm not saying I've got it all figured out, I don't. Some days are still hard. There are memories that hit like sucker punches out of nowhere. Songs. Smells. Old habits I'm still unlearning. But I'm healing. I've learned a few things and I guess that's how I want to wrap this up, with the things I wish someone had told me before the world tilted. If something feels off, trust your gut. I saw the signs. I just kept giving her the benefit of the doubt because love makes you want to believe the best in people. But your intuition isn't paranoia. It's your soul whispering, pay attention. Cheating isn't just about sex, it's about betrayal. Lies. Deceit. Manipulation. Emotional distance. The physical part is just the rotten cherry on top. It's the gaslighting that sticks with you the longest. Someone who can hurt you and then blame you for it is not someone you want to build a future with. No matter how pretty they talk. No matter how long you've been together. 5 years or 50, respect should be the foundation, and when that's gone, the rest is already crumbling. You're not weak for walking away. You're strong for knowing when enough is enough. Forgiveness is noble, but so is self-respect. You can't fix someone who doesn't even see a problem with what they've done. And lastly, there's life after betrayal. You might feel broken now. Lost. Humiliated. But those cracks? That's where the light eventually gets in. One day you'll laugh again without bitterness. Trust again without fear. Love again and be loved right in return. So yeah, that's my story. Thanks for reading if you made it this far. If you're in a similar spot, let me just say, you're not crazy. You're not alone. And you will get through this. A guy who finally walked away.